Now, one of the big questions of the day and always during a midterm general election is voter turnout.
17's Jason Galvin is following that part of the election for us today, and he joins us now with a look at how it's been at Kern County polling places today. Jason?
Well, Tammy, officials say it was just another status quo election day, if not even a little lighter than usual. Some 54,000 vote-by-mail ballots were received before the polls even opened today. Still, voters filed into polling places around town today. The county controller's office says it received no reports of any issues at the 146 polling places in Kern County. The average midterm election voter turnout in the county is 32%. There's a chance that number's topped this year, thanks in part to the enormous vote-by-mail tally. 16% of voters sent in their tallies by mail. That puts Kern County well ahead of other counties in California. Look at Napa alone, with all but 2 of its precincts already reporting. Only 24% of voters cast a ballot this year. County officials wouldn't speculate as to the number of local voters whom cast a ballot this year, but they say it won't take too long to tabulate the votes.
It's not a long process counting them after they've been received. It can take a while if a lot of the ballots show up at the same time, and then we have a wait to get them counted. Toward the end of the evening, then we're just waiting for the furthest sites to come in, and it slows down a little bit and doesn't take too long at that point, but it's pretty late by then.
While officials say they should have all of the votes accounted for by the morning, they also want to remind everyone that the county does have 28 days before results must be certified to the Secretary of State. We'll keep everyone at home updated to just how many Kern County residents voted as the night continues. Live in the studio, Jason Galvin, 17 News.
Well, it's always a question and to some a concern during midterm elections. We're talking about voter turnout and usually approaching historic lows when the presidential race is not on the ballot. 17's Jason Galvin has a look at local polls and how they look today as Kern County voters came out to cast their ballots. He's in our newsroom now. Jason?
Yeah, Jim, traditionally midterm voting numbers disappoint officials, but despite early reports that this year could be historically bad for California, Kern County does appear to have fared well today. 54,000 votes by mail were received at the county elections office before the polls even opened. The average midterm election voter turnout in the county is 32%. We're just over 100,000 of the registered voters, but with Kern County voters starting today halfway to that mark, already there's optimism that this year could be well above the midterm average. Currently, with 57% of the precincts reporting, over 71,000 voters have cast a ballot, putting Kern County well ahead of the 2010 midterm election pace. And with the number of ballots potentially on the rise, officials are expecting a long night at the office.
This is just my rough estimate, but I suspect we'll be here past midnight tonight. We have to wait for all the polls to close and all the poll workers to bring in all the ballots, and those come into us as far away as from Ridgecrest.
Now, officials expect to have a final tally on votes before they go home tonight, at whatever time that may be at. As a reminder, the county does have 28 days to certify those ballots before reporting them to the Secretary of State. As for now, Kern County voters are holding up rather well. Only half of the votes are in, but 21% of voters in the county are already accounted for. As comparison, in Sacramento County, the same percentage of voters have ballots accounted for so far, despite 80% of their precincts reporting. In the studio, Jason Galvin, 17 News.
All right, getting those votes in from Ridgecrest and Inyo Kern
It takes a while. They said maybe by 10 o'clock tonight they'd have them trucked in, maybe later.
All right.